Hey guys, Arm&Gun here, today with something a little bit more exotic. We have from FAMAE, their SAF 200. This is a 9mm PCC from Chile of all places. There's exceedingly limited information of this out there on the internet. I had this rifle now for, 9 months or so. It's been a great time, enjoyed it, and I've had it out for a couple range sessions. We've got a shooting video getting posted in about 2 days, as well as the results from when I took it out a second time. And then another couple days after that, I'll post the video of this disassembly so you guys can see it all broken down, how it rock and rolls from the inside. Today we're going to cover the specs. I'll give you guys some history on the other SAF models that FAMAE built prior to this one. This is their newest iteration of the SAF line. I'm going to talk about a couple of their other rifles that FAMAE produces as well. And then finally, a couple of my personal thoughts on the gun. And before we're done, we'll throw on an ACR stock because ACR all the things, and also the ACR stock is better than the factory FAMAE stock. We'll get into that though. Also, while we're here, a quick thank you to Tactical Imports. They brought this gun in for me. Imports of FAMAE stuff is really uncommon. They probably happen once every about 2 years. It's a hassle getting them into the country, so thank you to those guys. As of the time of this filming, or the time of the last import, which was about 9 months ago, this was the 15th gun in Canada. In the United States, they're apparently bringing some in as well, at least from what I could see from a few years ago in some videos. They were supposed to. I have seen full auto guns at rental range somewhere as well. So they're out there, they're just exceedingly rare. And I guess while I have you here, this is a round of 9mm. So there you go, that's what this thing is chambered in, 9. All right guys, let's cover some specs on this thing. So as you see it right here, it is 23 3/4 inches long. The stock extends 2 positions, maximum of another 1.75 inches length of pull, which brings it to 25.5 inches total overall length in its longest configuration. The stock also folds. When folded from the end of the hinge assembly to the tip of the barrel is 15 3/4 inches, so it's pretty compact. And then it's got a little stock retention system as well there that clips into this little clip in the back. I'll take you guys through the gun more close up, but I'll just run through the specs now. A couple other things, and then we'll get it onto the bench and go through those and check out that ACR stock. As you see it, it's about 6 pounds, at least in its factory configuration. Of course, minus the loopholed LCO, and mag would probably be out as well. This is a steel 30-round mag. They do also make polymer mags as well. Both the upper receiver and lower receiver are steel, which is super durable, a little bit heavier than aluminum. Uses a hinge pin design, which is same kind of idea as an AR-15. You can pop the rear one out and then hinge the upper and lower apart, or pull the front one and separate the upper and lower completely. But it's actually a direct takeaway from the SIG 540 and 550 line of rifles, which, well, we'll get into that, because if you haven't noticed already, this does borrow some aesthetics from the SIG line of rifles, and there's a good reason for that. It's available, as you see it here, in the semi-automatic version for civilians and some police forces, so it's safe and semi-only. There is also another version, which is got the fun switch in it. It's different lower, different trigger mechanism. It also incorporates a 3-round burst and full auto. When running full auto, the gun is said to do about 1200 RPM. So it's cooking. We have a hammer-forged 7.9-inch barrel with a 1 in 10-inch twist. Regrettably, even though there's all the room in the world here to thread the end of it, they did not do so. I might still do that, because when I do the disassembly video, you guys will be able to see that the barrel would be relatively easy removed. It just threads in. So it's probably not very hard to get that thing off, take it to a gunsmith, get it threaded for your desired thread pitch. Probably 1/2 by 28 for most thread-on 9mm things out there. Or hey, go all out and get a 9mm barrel custom made with a tri-lug suppressor, something like that on it. That'd be pretty cool too. Moving down, you'll see this integrated kind of furniture on the front end. This is unique to the SAF 200. It's got this kind of integrated angled forward grip. There's a battery compartment here as well. I'll show you that, guys, in closer detail when we have the gun up on the bench. It also has the accommodation for pick rails. I removed it on this side so you guys can see it. It's a polymer pick rail that just direct threads on. The other side has it, so I'll show you that, guys, in a second. The SAF 200 model is the first that actually incorporates a rail from the factory. There's add-on rails for the other SAF models, but yeah, this one's incorporated from the factory. And there are integrated flip-up sights, which again, I will show you in detail in a second. Modernized grip. It's going to be compatible with other FAMAE grips, but just other FAMAE grips, unfortunately. Features a pretty steep grip angle as well, if you'll notice, but it is a comfortable grip. It's textured, so it holds up pretty well. The stock, I'll show you from the bench, but I'm not super thrilled with it. It does fold, it is adjustable for length of pull, but it's kind of clunky. It definitely feels like an early commercial gun as opposed to something that was actually designed for police and law enforcement. And this little hinge mechanism up here is not overly comfortable. Definitely rides up on your cheek when you're getting a cheek weld. All right, guys, let's go through a bit of the history of FAMAE really quickly, and then we'll talk about the other weapons in this SAF line. And then I'll show you up top a couple other cool guns that FAMAE makes that led to this guy right here. So FAMAE was founded in 1811, ages ago, and it's actually noted as being the oldest small arms manufacturer in Chile, or in South America. Actually, they even mentioned, I think the article I read said Latin America. Nonetheless, they're based in Chile, and then what they did more recently was license the design from SIG for the SIG 540 series of rifles. So not recently, probably like 40 years ago. But nonetheless, they started producing SIG 540s, 542s, and 543s. That led, in 1993, to them developing their own 9mm SMG, or PCC, if you will, based on that design, and that's where this comes in. So this is very closely mimicked after the SIG series of rifles, uses the same trigger pack and everything like that, accepts the same furniture of the 540, mind you, not the 550. And anyways, in 1993, they came up with a predecessor to this guy right here, which is just the standard SAF. Same 7.9-inch barrel, closely resembles the MP5. They also came out with a micro or a miniature derivative, which was the Mini SAF, which was, again, derived after the MP5K, but again, still based on this whole SIG 540 platform. A little while later, with police wanting a slightly more modular, updated system with an optics rail to mount, other optics to, front pick system to run lights and lasers off of, FAMAE came and developed this, was their SAF 200, I think something to do with their bicentennial gun. I think this actually came out around 2011. Again, some articles dubbed it as their bicentennial version, which I can only presume meant that, but I am still presuming. So take that with a grain of salt. So now I'll bring you guys up. We'll take a look at the guns that led to this. We have a FAMAE SG543. It's a short barrel 5.56. Takes the same SIG 540 and 550 translucent mags. Nice system. And then up from there in tan, we have the 542. This is the 308 version of the FAMAE line. Basically, this is a SIG 542. All right, guys, over here on the bench, let's take a quick closer look at this thing. Real quickly, I'll prove clear. Everything's clear. Again, this is also, if I didn't mention already, it's a simple blowback system. Nothing crazy going on inside. Not quite, a true MP5 derivative or anything like that. It is just straight blowback, but it is a very smooth system as I proceed to make it look really clunky. But actually, it's quite a smooth system in there. Nice tight lockup. I guess they do seem to hold pretty tight tolerances with their steel stampings. Again, here's a closer look at that battery compartment, the angled grip up front. So that's what you get inside there. And that just pops back in. This is the other pick rail. It's kind of on a little bit of an angle, you can see, but it's a pretty neat system. It runs either with or without. This is a metal heat shield. And you've got a little sling loop up there, as well as in the stock here if you decide to run this stock. While we're looking at the stock, by the way, that's the folding mechanism, so it does fold really easily. It isn't super tight of a lockup. There's a bit of play in there. So, take that for what you will. And here is the length of pull system. You see, push down on this tab, pull back, and then just kind of wiggle it until it locks into place. It does maintain that wiggle though. It's fairly sturdy, but it just wiggles in and out a little bit. There's another setting in the middle, and then fully closed, which again, there's a little bit of wiggle at each stage. You get ambi safety selectors. That's nice. It does feature, as you saw with the mag, a last round bolt hold open, which you can drop by pressing this button up here. And I'll pop off this LCO so you guys can see the integrated flip-up sights. So we have right into the rail here, there's a rear sight and the front sight. The front sight being adjustable. Pretty nice. It's really easy to pull these with these tabs Really nice and easy to get them up. Just actually a pretty slick system. The rear is slightly adjustable as well for your aperture there. Pretty cool. Has a flapper lock mag release, and one other cool feature, keeping with the SIG guns and everything that Chile produced, it has a winter trigger guard that folds over to the left only, it just folds. Another note, actually, is the trigger mechanism here. We'll give you guys a trigger pull. It's an interesting plunger system. So not great, right? Not great on this. However, this is adjustable, and you can actually get them tuned in actually really quite nicely. A company called GS Designs makes a little trigger shoe that goes in behind. So once you reset it, you can put that trigger shoe in, and then it basically just eliminates the overstop. So you get a really nice clean pull. And I'll show you that in a second, because today's bonus gun is the Mini SAF. I mentioned this earlier when I was talking about the other SAF models. Really cool. And here's a polymer mag. This is a 20 rounder, meant to keep a really nice tight low profile. But again, this is that one that was modeled after the MP5K. So we'll just pop this out. This is another stock derivative. It's a folding metal stock, kind of like a Galil style, but it is lower to keep out of the way of charging the rifle. While we're doing that, we'll prove it clear. And then here's an example of this trigger shoe. You see a little tiny thing in there, and then I'll give you a trigger pull as well. So that's your take up. That's just under normal spring pressure of the trigger itself. You hit that little plunger, and now, boom. Really nice over travel. There's no over travel as well with the over travel stop. It's great. Really nice setup. I've tuned all my FAMAE triggers, with the exception of the SAF 200. I need to call up Alex at GS Designs and get a couple more of those little trigger shoes, because I ran out. While we're talking about Alex GS Designs, let's get that stock set up, because it features a FAMAE folding stock ACR adapter. So this is from GS Designs. 3D printed, but it's pretty robust. And it allows me to throw this unit on this, which I'm quite excited to do. Removing the stock is super simple. It's one bolt, fold the stock open, you got that access to it right there. That bolt removed, well, this retained that little pin up there. Pop that loose, but then this just comes right off. Grab our ACR one, fit it on. Snug that down, and we've officially brought this thing into the 21st century. Now this thing is rocking. Way better. Fills up the profile better. This just really nice, slick setup. ACR, all the things. Thank you, Alex, GS Designs. And yeah, again, because it cants down, it stays out of the way of the ejection mechanism and the charging handle, so you can still shoot this thing folded. It's a great time. And on that note, shooting video will be up in a couple days, so we'll get that done for you guys. And shooting impressions actually were pretty good. I had some problems out of the box. The video you'll see was literally my first rounds out of the gun, and I had, I think, 3 stovepipes in the first 25 rounds, which was horrible. So I took it home, cleaned it up, took it out again, and my suspicion was that, you know, SMGs like hotter ammunition to function sometimes. And a stovepipe is indicative of it just not cycling quick enough, not getting that brass out of the chamber before it comes back down again. And in my second shot, I took the same 115 grain American Eagle that I had on my first range trip. I also took 115 grain steel-cased Blazer, and then I took some 124 grain stuff as well. 124 grain functioned flawlessly. I didn't have actually any problems with the 115 grain on the second trip out. The Blazer, steel-cased 115, jammed every time. I had my Mini SAF out, Mini SAF out as well, just for a side-by-side comparison, and experienced the exact same thing. Didn't mind the 115 American Eagle, ran just fine with the 124s, but choked every single time on the 115 steel case Blazer. Anyways, guys, that's it for today's show. Thank you a ton. Please consider giving me a follow on Instagram. I post cool videos and stories and stuff there every day. Also, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Do all the things. It really does help with this video. And if you really want to go the extra mile, hit me up on Patreon. A couple extra perks there, as well as you can message me directly. Thanks a ton, guys. Arm&Gun, out.